watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I am Elisa, here to do a reading. It's a beautiful day. It's like in the 70s. So I thought I would do it out here. I did a reading earlier and it was like a really dramatic reading. I'll link it up here. And I was just like, whoa. So I'm gonna do another one and see if I can kind of open that up any at all, or see any other guidance that might be helpful. Okay, so when I do the split, just right off the bat, we got the Five of Wands and we got the Ten of Swords. So there's some really awful, horrible situation that's coming to an end. I mean, there's 10 swords in the back. Like this is like hitting rock bottom. Like you can only go up from here, you know. But there's clearly a lot of conflict over this. Yeah, I mean, it's like somebody's emerging victorious, and this person, I think, is just sort of taking a time out. They're kind of standing their ground, getting perspective on the situation, because they've kind of transformed and healed, and they have this beautiful new beginning on the other side of it. You know, death is here. They're walking away from this conflict. Like, so it's almost like one person, it's like they have good karma in this situation. And yeah, I mean, it's just like opportunities are here. You know, they've got all this love. Their ships are coming in. But clearly, this is causing some conflict. And so, the really dramatic reading that I was speaking of earlier was talking about, like, you know, healing generational patterns. Like, that had come up in the reading. And so I think what I'm kind of getting from this is just, you know, sometimes when there's a generational pattern, like, for example, if you have a narcissist in the family and this person has sort of elevated themselves by, like, sort of taking people in the environment down, you know, and so it's like almost become like this unconscious pattern because everyone's just sort of adapted to it, and people either just like leave or, you know, try to find success in some other place where they can be valued, or, you know, but these kinds of lessons, these are like really powerful karmic lessons that have to be addressed in our lifetime. And when they are, you know, when someone's like always benefited from taking from someone, draining other people's energy their whole life, and then suddenly someone like draws a boundary and starts defending their energy from that theft, like, I don't think they tend to respond well to that. That's when you get like some really, there was a reading about graduating from toxic psychotic behavior, and that's kind of what happens. It's like you really see the worst in people when you try to, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. So I just pulled out the Shaman's or Dream Oracle, and I got Dream Thief, refusal of the call. So really, like, to me, this speaks to the energy of like a narcissist, and like having to draw a boundary and being like, no, I'm not giving you my energy. This is my dream. This is my path. This is my energy, and I'm gonna pursue that, you know? And so this person, this is the Fool's Embrace, is transmuting pain. So it's almost like they have to go into like a hermit mode to sort of like heal their energy from this painful experience so that they can like regenerate, you know? And there was a reading also leading up to this about sort of taking a time out to heal from something. So anyways, this is really interesting because all of this is coming out, and I think it's really hard when you're like in the cycle of abuse sometimes to have perspective on it. It's like you just want to get out of it, and people just want you to be better, and you know, they just don't understand why you aren't moving on. And you know, like, I think it's important to like give yourself grace, and also like return to center, like the energy that's been like holding you back, you know, because I think it's important to give yourself the moment to heal, instead of just jumping into a next situation and carrying this drama forward, you know, like, I mean, nobody wants to see other people going through pain, and so, you know, I think there can often be a pressure to like brush things under the rug, but I think what this reading is speaking to is like really giving yourself the time so that you can truly heal from this experience and not have to relive it, you know. Okay, so I'm going to go to the wisdom of the oracle. So I just did a split, and we got mending, take the time to heal, and we got building blocks. You know, like, take your time and build things on a solid foundation, one block at a time. Like, don't try to rush into this recovery just to sort of like please the people around you, you know, because obviously when something traumatic is happening, like, nobody wants to see other people in pain. And especially if you're a people pleaser, you can really sort of dissociate from and just like ignore instead of transmuting the pain, which is really what you want to be doing. So okay, I'm gonna go to the Transient Light Tarot. See if there's anything else advice about this. Okay, so we got the Hanged One, which is really taking a step back and getting perspective on a situation. And we got the Champion of Wands, which is kind of like the Knight of Wands. So it's almost like making the bold move of taking this moment for yourself and just being honest with people, like what you're going through, and letting people know that you're not ready for whatever the next thing is, and that you just need to give yourself this moment. And I think that is like as completely, it's just a profound act of self-love. And I think something that's I think hard to see when someone's like coming out of a cycle of abuse, because part of that cycle is like being a people pleaser and like trying to make other people comfortable by like, you know, like pushing your pain down. And really, I think what this reading is speaking to is like part of being that healing this pattern is bringing it up and releasing it, you know, and transforming it into a different experience that's going to be more in alignment with your purpose and your dreams, you know. I mean, that's part of the whole thing of narcissistic abuse, is just like having your dreams hijacked, you know, because people just look at you as like firewood for their drama, you know. And it's a really difficult thing to understand for people who haven't experienced it, because it's like, you know, there's a tendency to judge people like, oh, they're a weak person, or they're this or they're that, and not really understanding that no, like, abuse is a legitimate experience, and it happens to everyone. Like, it happens to strong people, and you know, it doesn't discriminate. But the, you know, victim blaming, like, it really tends to set people back further, you know. So sometimes it's best to just kind of be this hanged one, taking a step back, not really engaging people in your situation until you're like ready to emerge from it. Okay, so we got Water Guardian, connect with your emotions, and we got Warrior, be fearless and stand strong. Wow, that is so wild. It's like this repeating message. It's like, part of being strong is giving yourself the space to experience the emotions and healing them and transmuting them that are coming up from this obviously painful experience. And that's part of what's going to release you from this to have like a different experience on the other side of it. So, oh my gosh, wow, this is like just a really, I feel like super exhausted, but the reading is very intense. Okay, so I'm going to the Prism Oracle, and I'll do one last split. Oh my gosh. So we got 2 reds, root chakra, we got stop, and we got energy. So it's interesting because energy, I think, is like, they talk about emotion and that being like energy in motion. So it's like the energy that's flowing inside of our body, like our emotions are a reflection of that energy. And so it's important to have an awareness of that. And I think, you know, when a person has been in a cycle of abuse, like, part of sort of compensating and adapting to that situation is sort of dissociating from those emotions. But like, yeah, I mean, it's just like all these different decks have come through, and it's all the same message. Like, just give yourself whatever amount of time is required to process and heal from this situationship, and that's totally okay, and it's warranted, and in fact it's the best thing that could possibly happen. What happened to the... So anyways, on that note, I'll leave it there. Check back soon.